in case you are still on the fence about Israel, Israeli settlers are now burning down the Christian town of Tibet in the West Bank.
Yeah. Judeo-Christian values, Jimmy, at work.
The village is known for its uniquely all Christian population, and Israeli settlers are burning it down. Cars, lands, and home all attacked in a series of violent pogroms aimed at uprooting Palestinian communities. So these are brown people who are Christians.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. So just so you know, this isn't a religious war. This is a mob war. And the Zionists just did a hit on another very powerful family. And it's the Christian family.
Yeah, there's no the Christians or the Jews. I hope people have picked that up at this point.
Right.
Okay, so like, oh yeah, we're all together till I don't like one specific thing you think, then we're going to be separate. So every time somebody lumps them all together, they're wrong. But I'm surprised at Christians here that do lump all the Christians together that have no idea about this, and I don't think they'd like to know.
Right. So here's some of it. Here's just a little bit of video. That's the kind of stuff they're doing. That's a car burning. That's the houses and land. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Tibet is what it looks like. Tibet is a Palestinian village in the West Bank, 15 kilometers northeast of Jerusalem and 12 kilometers northeast of Ramallah, in the Ramallah and Al-Bira Governorate of Palestine. According to the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, Taiba had a population of 1,340 people in 2017. Taiba is one of about a dozen majority Christian villages in the West Bank. So these aren't Muslims. This isn't Hamas. These are 3 Palestinians were killed in the West Bank clash with Israel settlers and troops. They call it a clash. Sounds like just a spontaneous fight broke out.
A clash.
So what I say is find someone who loves you as much as the Western media loves using the passive voice when describing Israelis killing Palestinians, because that's what that. So the headline should be Israel kills Palestinians in the West Bank. That should be the headline. But the headline is 3 Palestinians killed in the West Bank clash. So it wasn't. We don't know who did it. Wasn't the Israelis who killed them? Isn't that awesome? I think it is. So here's what happened. This is according to the Washington Post. Dozens of armed Israeli settlers attacked 2 Palestinian villages in the occupied West Bank late Wednesday, setting homes ablaze and sparking a confrontation with Palestinian residents that drew in Israeli security forces, according to local Palestinian authorities and Israeli defense forces. 3 Palestinians were killed in Kafr Malik, the Palestinian Health Ministry said, though it was not immediately clear whether it was the Israeli soldiers or settlers who were responsible for the fatal shots. Really? Yeah, I'm sure the IDF will do an investigation. In the nearby village of Taiba, vigilantes speaking Hebrew were filmed setting fire to a vehicle earlier Wednesday, according to the Israeli rights group B'Tselem, which acquired the video. The deadly clash in Kafr Malik was the latest instance of armed settlers carrying out violent raids against Palestinian villages in the West Bank, often with impunity in the presence of Israeli soldiers or directly with their help. Internal Israeli military data showed that crimes committed by soldiers and settlers against Palestinians in the West Bank during the first 2 months of 2025 surged 30% compared with just a year earlier. That's from the Yedoth Aranath newspaper, citing and where did they get their information? Well, they got their information from Israeli security officials who were concerned by the uptick. Israeli security officials.
Every time I tell people that don't believe me, I go, if you'd like to know, go look at Israel's news, which is remarkably honest compared to our news, which is chewed up garbage to feed to idiot cow-brain children. But in Israel, they haven't had all the program we had for 12 years, so they're saying things that they would have said back after 9/11 that you'd let go, right?
Yeah.
Like, only a few people go, that's weird and racist. Back then, they're in that mode all day. So you can get a remarkably accurate picture of what they're doing.
The IDF said in a statement that its soldiers were dispatched to quell a confrontation between settlers and Palestinians. Not an attack by settlers on the Palestinians, but a confrontation between them. See how they put this? This is amazing. That's why I have a show. But their attacks, but then the IDF soldiers were then attacked by rocks and fire. They put it in quotes.
Oh my God. Was it Iran? Iranian rocks?
Maybe it was inside the village. Troops then opened fire.
Good. All right.
On the Palestinians, on the Christian Palestinians. The IDF then opened fire on them toward the source of the fire and the rock hurlers.
Yeah.
And later found that several people were injured and killed.
You know, I don't think they share our values, those Christians. And, you know, they probably say racist stuff like Christ is king to themselves.
It's weird. They had this funny habit of sending more guys to quell the violence than that they actually started. Kafir Malik's mayor, Najim Dowd, told the Washington Post that settlers carrying M16 rifles, so Israeli settlers carrying M16s and Molotov cocktails, arrived at 7 p.m. local time and burned 4 cars. When they tried to approach homes to set the homes ablaze, they were then surrounded by local Palestinians. Soon after that, the IDF arrived and tear gassed to disperse the clashing crowds, and also shot people.
Wait, question, Jimmy. I'm a little confused by this. Settlers carry M16 rifles. I thought Israel has very strong gun laws. In fact, Jon Stewart used to comment, and liberals would go, maybe we should have Israeli-style gun laws where people can't have guns unless they're in the military. So why do these settlers have M16 rifles that they can carry around? Does anybody know the? I don't know the answer. Yeah.
Then the soldiers started shooting live ammunitions at the residents, who were civilians who came to stop the fire and to defend their village with rocks and sticks.
Yeah. And Israel's still losing. Yeah. Israel's still losing, and this is what they do.
And so that's from the mayor, and he disputed the IDF's claim that the Palestinians were the ones who fired guns at soldiers and accused the IDF soldiers of killing 3 people.
That's the Israeli mayor?
No, that's the West Bank Palestinian mayor.
Well, he's probably lying because, you know,
he's Palestinian.
Judeo-Christian values.
The 5 Israelis, and they arrested 5 Israelis, and the 5 Israelis were released Thursday morning after being cleared of any suspicion.
Oh, were they at least allowed to rape some Palestinian young prisoners before they left to make up for it?
A spokesman for the Israeli police did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The law enforcement agency, which is led by Israel's far-right Minister of National Security and settler leader Itamar Ben-Gvir, who I'm pretty sure is a terrorist.
Both in Israel and in America, he's considered
a legit terrorist by Israel's own government.
Yeah, well, Al-Qaeda is too, but they put them in charge of Syria, so don't get too hung up.
And he has jurisdiction over settlers living in the West Bank, while the IDF is responsible for overall public safety in the occupied territory. Safety. Violence has rocked the West Bank since October 7th, 2023, when Hamas and its blah, 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 blah. The clash that killed 3 in Kafir Malik on Wednesday evening came days after residents accused the IDF of fatally shooting Moatz Amar Hamaliel, a 13-year-old boy from the same village. Darn that violence, rocking the West Bank with that passive voice. So violence rocked the West Bank. You mean Israeli settlers attacked Palestinians? They call it violence rocking the West Bank.
I mean, I don't want to keep stressing that they're Christian, but I feel like I know a lot of Christians down here that have no idea about this and will be dumbfounded to learn of such a thing.
In response to a question about Hamal's death, the IDF said that the terrorists threw stones at passing cars and soldiers who acted in accordance with the rules of engagement and responded with fire to remove the imminent threat. The incident is under examination. Oh, good. They're going to investigate. From October 7th, 2023 until Wednesday night, Israel forces have killed at least 918 Palestinians in the West Bank, including at least 193 minors. At least 24 more Palestinians were killed by Israeli settlers or Israelis of unclear affiliation.
Yeah, no, the government doesn't approve of that, though, Jimmy. Those settlers just doing that. Strangely, they can have AR rifles, even though the gun control laws are so crazy. Maybe after October 7th, they were like, hey, the worst of Israel can have deadly weapons. Maybe that's what it is, but I honestly don't know.
So if, in case you weren't repulsed enough by Israel and what the Israelis are doing, again, that's not Jews. Most of the Jews I know are against what Israel's doing, against Benjamin Netanyahu, and against this kind of violence on Christians in Palestine.
And I gotta say, I'm very impressed when I look at YouTube, because my algorithm's wild. I watch every religious thing. Christians here are starting to wake up to the Ziocon nonsense Christianity we've had.
Are they?
Which, oh yes, because that's all the Schofield. They all talk about Schofield Bible now.
Oh, really?
I don't know how they all figured it out, but that country singer was on Tucker, and he told the whole story. So, dude, I've never seen that. I mean, maybe that's an op. I don't know, because I don't know how they all suddenly discovered this. I was a Jehovah's Witness as a kid, arguing with my little born-again friends about this stuff years and years ago, and I never thought I'd see the day where they noticed that everything, like the rapture left behind, that's Zionist Christian bullshit. Darby dispensationalism.
Is it?
Yeah, and that's from England. And by the way, just here, let me just cut, spoiler alert. That was a psyop from England. Okay, they sent their. We never liked England until World War One. We liked France. They helped us fight England. Remember?
That's right.
Remember War of 1812? All of a sudden, World War One, we become best pals with England again. And it's been that way ever. And you better not say anything about Winston Churchill. That's like talking bad about Israel.
Yeah.
That's my Israel. Winston Churchill. You better watch your mouth about him. How did they pull that off? The British invasion of music. How did they pull that off? They're waking up. And that's why I defend people that are MAGA, because I don't like belonging to a stupid name of a stupid group, but I know they're not for this bullshit the TV tells me they're for.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, Concord, New Hampshire, Oxnard, California, Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.